All right, my friends, first off, we need to all be on the same page about when we're saying chemical change, what is that? So a chemical change leads to the formation of a completely new substance. It means where once you had one substance, you have created something that is chemically new on the particle level. So this involves making or breaking connections between particles. So some examples would include combustion, so things catching on fire, rotting, rusting, and digestion. This is to contrast with what are purely physical changes. Like I have a piece of paper right here. I just made a physical change. I've changed its appearance, okay, but I have not changed what it is. I have not formed something new. So a physical change does not form a new substance. It just changes something's size, shape, or state of matter. So some examples would be melting and boiling, which are two different phase changes. Here you're going from a solid to a liquid. Here you're going from a liquid to a gas states of matter. And then shredding, chopping, you're changing the shape and size of something, but you are not changing what it is. You're not forming something new. Do is practice some chemical and physical changes. What we're going to do is I'm going to read it, let you think about it for a minute, and then go over the answer. So I want you to pause up the recording, think about what you would select, and then let the recording keep going. So the first example we have here is of chopped vegetables. Is that a chemical change that forms a completely new substance, or is that a physical change that does not form a new substance? So think it through. So this one is a physical change because we're just changing the size and shape of the vegetables. We are not creating anything new. So physical change. Next up, we have crumpled paper. Is this a chemical change forming a completely new substance or a physical change that does not form a new substance? So this one is also a physical change. You're just changing the appearance and shape of the paper. You're not creating a new substance. So physical change. Next up, we have soured milk. So this one is a chemical change, that solid that has formed suspended in the liquid. As we'll learn later, that's called a precipitate, and it is a completely new substance with new physical properties. So we have a chemical change here. All right, what about photosynthesis, where a plant uses sunlight and water, so radiant energy and water, to create glucose and oxygen? All right, so this one is also a chemical change, taking two substances, the radiant energy from the sun and the water, and creating something new from it, glucose, which is a type of sugar, and oxygen, new substance formed with new physical properties, so chemical change. One more. So melting ice cube, this is one that I find students sometimes struggle with because we forget about phase changes, so solid to liquid to gas. So phase changes are physical changes. They are a way that a substance can physically change without creating a new substance. So a phase change such as a solid ice cube melting, becoming a liquid, is not a chemical change, though it is still water, whether it's in solid ice or as liquid water, and it can be reversed. Of course, we can freeze the liquid water again, and we could have those ice cubes. I wanted to do an odd one out with you. So study the four images for a second. We have chopped wood, burnt wood, wood that is being carved, and wood that has partially become wet. And think about which one of these does not fit with the others and why. I'll give a little wait time here, but I want you to pause up and think it through before you choose, and think about which one you think is odd one out and why it doesn't fit with the others. All right, so if we look at A, we have a physical change here. We have changed the size and shape of the wood by chopping it, but we have not created something new. Same thing with C. The man is carving a figure into the wood, and it looks like he's starting to draw on it as well, but still wood. He has not created something new. The wet wood can dry. This will eventually become reversed and it's still wood. Its appearance may change, but a new substance has not been created. Whereas the burnt wood, we cannot unburn the part of the wood that is now burnt that has completely changed into charcoal, which is a new substance that cannot be reversed. So B would be our odd one out here that does not fit with the others because it's a chemical change, whereas A, C, and D are all simply physical changes. So chemical change, new substance formed. A, C, D would be just a physical change, changing the size, shape, appearance, or state of matter of something without creating a new substance. We have 4 different things that can indicate or provide evidence that a chemical change may have occurred. We would only really able to be for sure know if we can show on the particle level that new substance has formed, but these 4 things indicate that a chemical change may have occurred. The first is an unexpected color change. So this is a permanent unexpected color change. Unexpected meaning that it's not something that we can readily predict, okay, this is going to be a color change. So for example, putting food coloring in water is not unexpected. We expect that it's going to change color. Mixing blue and yellow paint, we expect that's going to make a green color. That's a color change. That's not unexpected. So it would be, and we'll see some examples as we come for this, something where the end result is not that we expect there to be a color change. Then we have gas production. So this is the formation of a gas when substances are combined. This is not a phase change. So we're not talking about, say, water boiling. That's a phase change. We're talking about when gas is emitted. So there might be bubbling, there might be fizzing, there might be a gas, an odor from that given off from that gas. Then we have temperature change. This is when substances of similar temperatures are combined and heat is either lost or produced. So for example, if 2 relatively cold substances are combined and all of a sudden the temperature of the new substance is a lot warmer, or 2 warm substances are combined and the new substance is the temperature plummets, that could indicate a temperature change, indicating a chemical change. Then we have precipitate production, and this one can be a little tricky, but this is when 2 liquids are combined and a solid is formed within those 2 liquids. And we'll see an example of this in a moment, and we'll see some more examples of this in the class. This is called precipitate, like precipitation, that similar word root there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at a few examples. So first off, we want to determine if the example we see is a chemical change or a physical change, and if it is a chemical change, what the evidence is. So this first one, we have this cut wood here. I don't see an unexpected color change or the production of a gas or a change in temperature or precipitate production. I just see a change in the appearance, like when we ripped the paper. So this would be an example of just a physical change. The glow stick. So this is an after picture, okay? But if you think of before you have those glow sticks with that clear liquid in them, you snap it, you shake it a little, and all of a sudden you get this, bam, this bright color, okay? This would be an example of an unexpected color change. So this is a chemical change. A chemical reaction has happened within that, inside that glow stick. Okay. So here, this one needs some explanation. So 2 liquids were combined, 2 clear liquids, and we got this kind of rocky, sedimenty looking solid that forms within inside the mixture of those 2 liquids. So this is a chemical change. It's indicating that a precipitate has been produced within those 2 liquids, a new substance that has been created there. All right, so we have this wrinkled and ripped paper. I don't see an unexpected color change or gas production or temperature change or precipitate, this one would be a purely physical change. We have just changed the form of the paper, but we haven't changed what the paper is on the chemical or particle level. One more. So you take some baking soda and some vinegar and you mix them and you get all this bubbling and fizzing and this kind of strong smell that's come off. This would be an evidence of a chemical change. This is a gas. A gas is formed that wasn't there until you mix the baking soda and the vinegar. So you've created a new substance with its own unique physical properties.